How long does recovery take?
If you are truly brave enough, you can heal from your eating disorder much quicker. It really all circles back to the mask. Do you even know that you have your own mask that you wear? I didn't. I didn't know for a very long time that my eating disorder was acting like a mask. A lot of people will say, well, how long will it take for me to get from here to here? And this is where I want to be with my peace and my happiness. And I can't tell you how long it's going to take, but what I can do is guide you from my own experience. So I journaled to keep me on track, which, oh, by the way, if you like mangoes, don't eat the skin because there's such thing as an allergic reaction to mangoes, which makes your lips look beautiful and plump, but creates this really bad rash on your face. Yeah, it's a thing. It's not acne, I promise. It's mango mash. All right, so I like the analogy of ego versus the opposite is own goddess energy. I always knew that when I was a little girl, it was a very fun, playful, free feeling. And I really felt inside my soul that I think I'm supposed to feel like that now too. You know, a more like grown-up adult version, but where did that carefree, peaceful, just like glowing little girl go? So when I was about 10 and I was in 5th grade, that's when I was bullied and I was told I was fat and I need to go on a diet. And then my mom, of course, put me on a diet. So at that point in my life, that little girl that had this inner guidance of like, oh, that's joyful, that's fun, I'm going to go do that. Life is so neat and interesting and, you know, playing and exploring. And then I got hungry and I ate and then I went to play again and you know, it's like, oh, I can't wait for dinner and then ice cream after dinner. Or can I have ice cream before dinner? You know, it's just, there was no judgment, no rules. It just was built in me. So I wanted to get that back and I didn't know how. And ever since that traumatic event happened to me, I put on my own mask. The mask symbolizes the eating disorder. If you are raised in a home with parents that are very healthy mentally or have their own loving, supportive relationships, you might be blessed with those tools of, I had a bad day, I need to go sit in my room and kind of like feel those feelings and realize, no, that's normal, that's being a human. And I am valuable, I am good enough, and I have my dad to talk to, or I have my mom to, you know, go for a walk with and kind of get through this, grow through it, and soothe myself. Well, then you may never develop such a severe eating disorder, or if you do have a little bit of a disordered eating pattern, you may grow through it quickly. The quicker you get help, the easier recovery can be, and a lot of the eating disorder success is from a family approach. So I would say if you have that option, you have some good family structure and some good support system, utilize that. That can maybe just be a little thing that you need to get better sooner. But if you don't, you know, maybe you've been struggling for a very long time. So for me, it was 10 years old all the way up to right now I'm 35. And I didn't have the option to directly just work with my family because it was a broken household. And then I got into relationships kind of thinking, you know, I'm going to progress through my life and realize that people have their own mask too. So you might be attracted to people with an ego, which is their own mask, and you observe it And that little girl inside of you that doesn't feel enough, is unsure, sees someone that seems very confident, and their mask kind of showcases what you think is the answer to feeling better, to being more carefree. So you get into that relationship. And then you start to see their mask slip down and reveal something that startles you, scares you, and you realize, oh my gosh, they're not perfect. They're not my answer. They're not solid. So then you have to feel some of your feelings, and then you feel some of their feelings, and you're like, woo. And then you might leave that relationship because you feel like, oh, something's wrong with them. But it really is a mirror. You both have your mask, the masks start to slip away, and then this kind of mirroring happens. So the one thing that I did learn is, if you're brave enough and you understand that you actually are wearing a mask, everyone goes through life with a mask, then you can start to pull off your mask and let some emotions come up. Once you start to pull off the mask, you really have to go back to that very first painful situation. So you might sit down and say, okay, when was that last time when I was just carefree, happy, in tune with my own body, and kind of flowing through life? And then what happened? Why did that change? Okay, so get a pen and paper and write it down. When I was this age, this happened. So maybe it was my parents started a divorce. How did you feel? Who was there to support you? Okay, and then progress to the next thing. Then my best friend passed away. How did you feel? Who is there to support you? So literally write down everything you can think of that has ever been painful to you or had some sort of a reaction, emotional response inside of you. And then go back, I gotta get comfortable here, then go all the way back to that first event. And now you have to reparent yourself. So you might pretend you're your best friend or your own mother, or even just kind of that authentic you. You're like, I know I can be like that really free, elegant, glowing person. Like, I want to be that person. How do I get to be that person? Maybe once my eating disorder is gone, like, I really truly believe in my heart and soul, like, that's how God designed me to be. So how would that carefree, strong woman talk to herself? Okay, so you go back to the 9-year-old girl who is called fat and chubby. Okay, how did I feel? Oh my gosh, it's horrible. What's wrong with me? I thought like I was a sweet little innocent girl. And so then you reparent yourself. You know, sweetie, I'm so sorry that someone told you that. That's horrible. That must have felt so uncomfortable. You never knew anything was wrong with you before. Please understand that you're growing. You're a young child, and sometimes we grow wider before we grow taller, but it is important to always nourish your body and enjoy what you're eating. Yeah, we might have some play foods and some more fueling foods, and we should bring awareness to that and kind of honor your body. But no, there's nothing wrong with you. You're beautiful. You're beautiful and you're growing. So you have to kind of like reparent yourself. Or let's say when your parents are threatening a divorce and your dad walks out and leaves you, it could cause some severe abandonment issues. So what do you need to tell that little girl that never got soothing, that never got closure to that traumatic event? Okay, sweetie, your dad was physically abusing your mom. That's horrible, painful. I cannot imagine the pain that your mom experienced in trying to prevent her sweet daughters from seeing that and prevent them from feeling the pain of this constant, unstable, unsafe home. I am so sorry that you lived through that. But we are all humans, and your father, he's just a human too. And he really loved you. We know he loved you. He just didn't know how to love you better. He was struggling with his own demons. But the nice thing is you can see what wasn't a loving home environment, and you can make a change. You can be the change. You can create your own family someday, and you can stand for your family and say, I don't want to have a home that feels that way, that loves in a really hurtful way. I want this home to be of communication, where you can have a feeling, but it's still okay. No matter what your anger or your feelings may be, I won't leave you, I won't abandon you. You're allowed to be a human, and I love your flaws. I love your flaws, and I will be by your side, and we will work through this. Because I'm not perfect, which means you're allowed to not be perfect. But what is perfect is us still loving and accepting each other, because we both deserve love. So another example, I'll just do one more. It may be, a best friend passes away. And of course you're gonna feel extremely sad. That was like your fun partner in crime that you got to kind of not be in your eating disorder for a moment, because when you're with this best friend, all you got to really experience was joy. And now that joy has been pulled from your life, and of course you're feeling the trauma of losing your best friend, but also now you're kind of just sitting with your eating disorder. You no longer had that distraction, that person to kind of soothe you, so you're stuck just soothing yourself. So again, come back to that moment and talk to yourself. Oh my gosh, I love this person so much, and now they're gone. But I know that I was blessed by getting to have those amazing moments with such a special spirit. And I hope that I can keep her spirit with me, and I can share some of that greatness with others around me. And I think her spirit is always with me. And she would want me to not be struggling with an eating disorder. And she'd want me to honor being a human and get to be present on this planet. And I'm sad. If I ever want to think about her and have feelings about it again, I can. That's good, that's healthy. But in order for me to fully recover, I need to not hold any negative sadness, but more just like an honoring of who she was, how we connected, and how she still is connected to me, even though she can't physically be here with me. So whatever it may be, it may take a lot of time. You may need to work with a therapist, but once you get through all these feelings, then at some point, a fear or a thought may pop up, and you kind of look at it and you're like, ugh, yeah, it doesn't feel good. Let me self-soothe. Let me talk through this. And it may pass immediately, like, oh, that was easy, and then you move on. It might take kind of like an evening just to read a little bit about the topic. You may need to feel some of what's bubbling up inside of you, but you have all those tools. God designed you to innately have what you need to get through things in life.
Until next video, remove that mask. Let's see that gorgeous, brave face.